Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. Ryan Garcia needs to jump ship immediately. Get off of that golden boy ship. Doesn't matter how good the cruise was or how good they make you feel it's going to be right now. You need to get off of that ship immediately. You got Bernard Hopkins out here and De La Hoya out here, man, treating this man like he has no brain. You know what I'm saying?
I've been 28 years in this business of boxing, in the ring. 28 years in the ring. I believe I got something. One thing about boxing, I close with this, it will call your bluff.
That's Bernard Hopkins telling Ryan Garcia, he's talking to Ryan Garcia, how he put 28 years into boxing and how it will call your bluff. But this is my thing. If you, listen, let me tell y'all something, right? You always, the way I was schooled, you counsel, you chastise behind closed doors. You have your verbal disagreements, your heated discussions, your heated debates behind closed doors. But when you walk out together, you guys walk out in stride on the same front. That's not what's happening here. So what happens is the result is a severe breakdown in team dynamics. You got the guys at the level of leadership, at the strategic level, sitting there and going back and forth with the guy there at the tactical level. Now, to explain it, you got the tactical level, which are kind of the worker bees, right? Then you got the operational level, which are the guys who are doing a lot of the managing. Then you got the guys at the strategic level who are creating policy and running, they're running the whole show. You understand? So when you get the guys here at the strategic level, coming all the way down and getting in the weeds and fumbling around with the guys at the tactical level, that's a lack of professionalism. And for them to do that to Ryan Garcia, that's a bad sign. And you know what? Ryan Garcia, I hear people saying, oh, Ryan said this and he said that and Ryan was wrong. Ryan is the fighter. He's the guy, remember, who has been going through a lot of different things. He has matured. He's come a long way. But Ryan really wasn't saying much of anything until they did him dirty and they left him hanging at that post-fight press conference after Tank Davis. And remember, leading up to that fight, Oscar De La Hoya, if you pay attention to when he talks, he ensures that he says things about fighters who are not in his stable. He compliments them a lot, almost like his agenda is, let me not say nothing crazy, because maybe they'll come on over here and join our team. So he's very complimentary of Tank. He's been very complimentary of a lot of fighters, but not so much when it comes to Ryan. And I really feel, man, that they were mad that he wanted to take the Tank fight, and they keep talking about how much money they made him. I mean, look, they had something to do with it. But it's hard for me to give them credit for that when the whole time, as they were, getting closer to the fight, and they were talking like they just didn't want it. They didn't want to do it. They didn't want to do it. But then they go and the fight's a success, and now it's like, look what we did. But now you got Ryan Garcia here, and I don't think they wanted him to lose the Tank fight. I think they didn't want him to take it because they felt he would lose. There's a difference. But with this Duarte fight, deep down, I truly believe that De La Hoya and Hopkins are like, that little shit, we're going to show him. And that's what Hopkins said, what he said about how boxing will humble you. I think they want him to be humble. Matter of fact, Hopkins knows firsthand how boxing will humble somebody, because didn't Joe Smith knock his ass out the ring? But now Hopkins, man, it looked like a damn pinball the way he was. Bing, 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 bing. Fell all the way down to the floor. And then got up and said he slipped. So he got his ass humbled. But I think they're wishing bad on Ryan Garcia, man. And it's sad. I don't know how much longer he has on his contract. I don't know what kind of money he's going to make for this fight. I do know that Ryan Garcia made a lot of money fighting Tank, and Tank made a whole lot of money. People keep saying, let me tell you something. If Ryan made $30 million, what did Tank make? So they made a lot of money. Now, that being said, as far as this fight this weekend, I don't know what Ryan's making. But there's some distractions. You know, the concern was Shakur Stevenson possibly showing up to the fight and creating a distraction for Ryan. You know, that was one of the concerns. But then now, I'm taking a look at it. Shakur, they don't need to ban him from coming to this fight. That's the least of his concerns. God damn it, ban Bernard Hopkins and De La Hoya, but Bernard Hopkins, you can't come out there wanting to stare down Ryan Garcia, be combative and confrontational with him. You know, there's got to be the exchanges happen from different positions, right? So when you have two children having an exchange, it kind of looks like this: insulting, over-talking, etc., right? Not very productive, very destructive. But then when you have the child and the adult, the child may still talk back, over-talk, say, disrespectful things. The adult has to remain in the adult position and not come down and have child-to-child exchanges. That's where you lose and things go awry and the respect is out the window. And the child no longer sees you as an adult. They see you as a child. And Bernard Hopkins chose to come down to a level to where, in this instance, Ryan Garcia, in my opinion, was more operating as the adult, and De La Hoya and Bernard Hopkins were operating as the child because they were taking shots. But then Ryan Garcia got tired of it when he had an opportunity to speak. Well, he spoke his mind. But that's what happens when you want to go child to child. And a matter of fact, he's a grown man, but he is younger than them. But you respect. Let me tell you something. I had this problem up at my kid's school. Last year, there was a teacher. And my son, this was when he was in fifth grade, right? And he's in 8th grade now. And anyway, the teacher, when I pulled up, right, my son was like, the teacher was being, he said she was being, a little harsh with him. And he was agitated. So I said, who? He was like, her. She was like, yo, you say yes, ma'am. You say yes, ma'am. He was like, no. And she was like, you'll respect me. You'll respect me. And he was like, I'm not telling you yes, ma'am. So when I pulled up, of course, me being a retired guy, right, military guy, that whole thing about respect, let me tell you something. Respect is earned. You understand? Just because of your position doesn't mean someone's going to respect you. Just like Hopkins and De La Hoya, no one's going to respect you. You got to earn that. And if anything, they may have had it, but now they've lost it because of their behavior. So with that teacher, I got out the car and I said, hey, how you doing? I was like, was there an issue with my son? And she was like, yes, I told him, to say, yes, ma'am. I was talking to him and he wouldn't say yes. Oh, he was talking to another teacher. He was talking to a teacher who he's cool with. And the teacher who had nothing to do with the conversation, the coach was like, or the teacher was like, hey, all right, Rashid. He was like, all right, man, later. And he was like, you better do what I told you. They were joking and playing. But she just inserted herself and he was like, all right, I got you. And she was like, no, you say yes, sir. You say yes, sir. He's like, no, I'm not saying that. She like, to me, you say yes, ma'am. He was like, no. So she was like, yeah, I was trying to teach him some respect. And I told her, you got to know your audience. I was like, he doesn't have to tell you yes, ma'am. He doesn't have to tell him yes, sir, as long as he's respectful to you guys. I was like, but, respect is earned. And the way you're behaving, you're talking to me with, with a lot of, emotion. So I can only imagine how you spoke to him. I was like, but no, he's not going to tell you yes, ma'am. He's not going to tell anyone yes, sir, unless he wants to. And, she looked like she had peanut butter in her mouth. She like, yo, sorry. So it comes back to what I was saying about respect. That's earned, man. You don't just think you walk into a place and get respect. Now, depending on your position, there's a certain amount of respect that comes with the position. No matter how a person conducts themselves, you got to at least respect the position, But when they're up here and stepping outside of position, getting outside of character, getting out of the professional boundaries and choosing to just be the average Joe. Well, I mean, everything is fair. And for Ryan Garcia, I mean, even me watching it, I just don't think they have good intentions towards him. And what I mean is, I think they almost want him to lose. That's my opinion, man. I could be wrong. But I think he should get the hell out of there. I do. I think it needs to be assholes and elbows. When they look up, that's all they see is the back of him. Them elbows and an asshole. And he should just be gone another direction. Where he's going to go, I don't know. But I think Ryan Garcia is a star. Especially he blasts out Duarte. I don't know how much longer he has on this contract. But Ryan Garcia, he doesn't need them. He really doesn't. He don't need that stress. Could you imagine? Like this is his career, right? The amount of, he got to go fight. It's one thing to come to work and have to do a job, but you got to go into a fight. You know how your mind is all scatterbrained, or when you're stressing about something at work, and you got this co-worker, or you got a boss, or issues with your wife or husband, and you got that on your mind, and you're trying to get something done. It's hard, man. Sometimes you just set it aside. Come back to it later, come back to it tomorrow, take the rest of the day off. If you have good people around you, recognize that you're going through something. Ryan Garcia can't do that. That man has to somehow suck it up and go and get in the ring with someone who's trying to kill him. And who has the potential to do that because of how hard he hits Duarte. But these bozos are so caught up in their emotions that they're not putting the fighter first. Anyway, man, that shit gets under my skin because that would have been like me being, in my capacity, especially the last 5 years before I retired, I reached a point to where you couldn't go any higher. You understand? And for me to come in there with my positional power, knowing I have the upper hand on those guys at the tactical and operational levels, right? And just decide to go in on them. When you get to that level, you don't have to talk very loud. You understand? You don't have to talk very loud at all. You don't have to say much because of the position and the power that comes with that position, and everybody knows it. But you out here carrying on. Ryan Garcia is probably already a little uncomfortable, right? But then you up because of, he knows they can really mess around with his career. But then you're up here raising your voice and being animated. That's why I say he needs to get out of there. That's a toxic environment. Toxic. He needs to get the F out of there. Serious, man. I watched that and I couldn't believe what I was watching. But everybody's going to see things different because we all come from different backgrounds, different experience levels. But I'm going to tell you, from my background, even before I joined the military, that's crazy, you know what I mean? But after doing 25 years and just being at all levels, dealing with all kind of people, I've dealt with assholes. I dealt with some of them bastards, man, where they just want to put a pinch in their ribs, Some of them you do, and he's like, yo, I would love to punch him in his mouth. I had a guy, man, that's a whole nother story. But I came so close to hitting him in his mouth because he just wouldn't listen during a military exercise, man. And, he thought he was a thug, and he said something to me like, oh, yeah, Sergeant, let's just say Sergeant Hood Champion, right? Oh, yeah, Sergeant Hood Champion. Some people, they have on this uniform and they act a kind of way. But if they weren't in this uniform, they would never say the things they say. And I was like, are you directing that at me? He was like, oh, no, I'm just saying, some people, I said, I'll tell you what, right? Because right there, man, everything left me right there. Who I was as an individual, that came out. And I said, I'll tell you what, right? And I closed the door. It's about 20 people in the office. I said, anybody in here, right, who feels that maybe if it wasn't for this military, that if I got around you, that I would cower or be intimidated. I said, I'll tell you what. I said, right downtown, right, because everywhere I went, there was a boxing gym. I said, right downtown. You come on down there and we can spar. I won't say nothing. You don't say nothing. If I beat your ass, shut up. If you beat my ass, I won't say nothing. But if you really feel, right, that you can beat me, or that I'm some guy who's just trying, I wouldn't come in here and ask y'all to do things, which comes with the position, you know what I mean? I tell you what, if you got an issue, we can go down here and we can fight. Boxing gloves, I said headgear, no headgear, whatever you want. And none of them took that shit. They all were like, whoa. And I was like, yeah, okay. Keep talking, keep running your effing mouth in here. You know what I'm saying? So that was one time where old Sergeant Hood Champion lost his cool. It's like, yo, don't come playing around here, man. All y'all would. Anyway, fools with gold teeth in their mouth. And you got a military uniform on, you sagging your uniform? Get out of here, man. But they didn't want no parts of that shit. And then the funny thing is, one of the guys there, we were cool. We used to spar all the time. He worked, in the section, but he was underneath me. He real cool, Puerto Rican cat. And we used to spar all the time. We were real cool. And he told him, he was like, yo, man, yeah, leave him alone. And they would just ask him, like, well, so how is he down there? Can he fight? Can he spar? He was like, yo, man, just leave him alone. That's all he would say. And we'd be talking, he'd be talking about how fast my hands were. We'd always talk about our sparring sessions and sparring. We love boxing. And you see the wannabe tough guys who won't even get in the ring, right? They want to sit back and just watch. It used to be fun to me. But when the respect goes out the window, things fall apart. You know what I'm saying? And I got off on a tangent just now. But anyway, when you're at that level, you got to stay cool. And that was one time where, I dropped the ball, But hey, I'm human. They were talking like, they possibly want to get physical. And, I just let them know. There's a right way to do it, and nobody will find out. You can kick the old sergeant's ass, cool. If not, you better not say nothing. But they never wanted to do it. That being said, Ryan Garcia needs to jump ship immediately, man. Get off that ship, because I tell you what, you may say, oh, he's going to jump. He may end up in a river with crocodiles. He may end up in the ocean with sharks. Well, he's already swimming with a bunch of crocodiles and sharks and snakes slithering around. You need to get the hell out of there. It's just overall bad for him, for them, for everybody. It's toxic. He needs to get out of there. That being said, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans. Sorry for them long stories, man. I got so many. I should start tying them into all these videos. I have y'all cracking up with some of the shit that I experienced over 25 years. Y'all will laugh. Keep cool. I'm in the breeze.